Hey, what's up? This is Disciple Marcello Currents, Rain, back in here. So, what I covered in the first one was that gang stalking is basically an underworld. It's an underworld that many Christians don't know about. It's an underworld that many people don't know about. So, if you're not familiar with it, like how when I first heard it, even though as soon as I heard it, I knew what that meant because I was already going through it. So I already knew what it meant without someone having to explain it to me. It's a group of people stalking people in games and everything. And actually, if you check out my YouTube, my Facebook, Marcello Currents, MarcelloCurrence, and if it's not Marcello Currents, it will be just Rain. And you should be able to see which one is mine. It's not too many people. It's Marcello or Rain on my page on Facebook. Marcello Currents or Rain. You know, it's not too many people with that name, with those names. So if you look up Marcello Currents or Rain on Facebook, you'll find my page. And what you'll notice if you really search out my page, because my page is like a book. I have all kind of I got pitfalls. I got times when I was doing all kind of things. You know, my page is 10 years old. But if you can find a way to get keywords to come up concerning the posts, you know, posts. Look up mind technology on my page, or gang, or psychological war games. You know, if you look that up, or if you even, it might come out easier Googling Marcello Currents and then put mind technologies, brain weapons, and psychological war games. If you look up those keywords in my name, Google my name with keywords, with those key terms, then you should find out, and you should see my post that I had years ago. I've been posted about this years and years and years ago, before it even started taking place. So the Holy Ghost already prepared me for it. I asked the Holy Ghost, which I believe the Holy Ghost even inspired that thought, to protect me from all mind technology, protect me from all type of technologies that I do not know about, because this country is not forthcoming with the technology that they use, and they're using it against people here in the name of finding terrorists that haven't attacked anything since 2001. Okay? And if you know the history, from my understanding, they were warned 52 times about terrorists attacking before 9/11, concerning 9/11. They had 52 warnings. The administration at that time had 52 warnings about it. Okay? So you're living in a country that gets warned of terrorist attacks, gets warned of COVID-19, like the last administration did before this one. That's what kind of country you're dealing with. A country that has all types of technologies and everything, and they let some things in and they don't. But they put you under surveillance. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who's watching you. You don't know what their motives are. That's what kind of country you're living in. They can smile in your face and put on this big show, and you don't know what's going on. You have to know, as Americans, that you don't know who to trust. All you know is when they have these presidential debates, which I encourage you to go back and look, so you can see what the present administration is really like, because the opposite side always tells you the information that they know about the other side. So just go look back and see all the stuff that was said about President Biden and all, and you can even look up and look at the stuff and listen to the stuff also that was said about former President Trump. So you got to look up you got to know these things, because they're not going to tell you. They're not gonna tell you. All those things that came out when they was debating, they're not gonna tell you that. I say that all that to say, these technologies are used not by everyday people like you and I. They're used by some other institution or entity besides the police. And that's what you got to realize. And you can't just blame secret societies. It's a lot more going on than a secret society. You can't trap me off in that world. So I say all that to say also that with this gang stalking, you can't just pinpoint one institution or group of people. It's just like gang stalking is a format, if you will. It's a format. It's a form of war. So there's no necessary quote unquote brand or group of people or institution necessarily that's stuck with that. You can't think that every time somebody's being gang stalked is by the same people. Okay? It's a method. It's a modern day method of trying to get their subjects to kill themselves or go to jail without trying to kill them. That's one of the main missions. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to understand, because some people say, well, what's the whole point? That's the point. They're trying to get that person to kill themselves or kill someone. That's basically it. So, see, in the case where they gang stalk Christians, you see where they hit the brick wall? Because the angels are involved, the Holy Spirit is involved, the Lord. It's a mess. It's a big mess right now. You know what I'm saying? And they thought they didn't believe in God. They didn't think it was real. And this has caused so many problems in America and in the spiritual world. This is why you have all this going on. And to me, in my personal opinion, like with me, they try to tell me I'm this, I'm good, I'm that, I'm a leader, I'm this and that. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm trying to get I want my bag. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like in my particular situation with me being gang stalked, it's been psychological violations, war game psychological violations, invasion of privacy violations, psychological war game violations. It's better said if I didn't say it that way the first time. That's what I've been through. So before I could do anything for anybody, that has to be addressed properly and financially. You know what I'm saying? It's not, apologies are for children. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing you gotta understand. If you're a Christian and you win your wars, and these people are apologetic, Christians do not walk away letting someone win, letting them tell you or end a war with just an apology. Don't let them win. Don't let them walk away with no apology. They violated you. They violated your constitutional rights as a human being. Okay? Nah, you're not just walking away. You're more American than they are. They may question your because you're a Christian, because they probably think Christians are almost anti-America or against what Americans are for, which is, as you know, the obvious things. I don't have to bring them up. You know what Christians are against, and you know what this country is doing that Christians don't agree with. So, that being said, they may feel like, in essence, you're against them, and you're really just representing God. But when they try to gang stalk you and play games with you, and you're a child of God, they're going to reap the benefit. They're going to reap the repercussions off the rip. They're going to reap the repercussions. It's not something that they can use whatever kind of mind games they want, any kind of technology they got. All you have to realize is that at the end of the day, that it's about to end, especially now. If you're just coming into being gang stalked, it's just starting to happen to you, then you don't have nothing to worry about, because it's almost over. It's almost over. For people that's been going through it for the past, I would say 10 years almost. Well, now you can be refreshed in this season because it's almost over. It's almost over now. You know what I'm saying? The war is pretty much over. You can smell it in the air. It's almost over. So, with gang stalking, first thing first, with Christians, okay, you might be targeted, like I said, because of your beliefs. Just because of what you believe. You know what I'm saying? And you may say, well, why is it happening to me? Well, because of what you believe. Because of what you stand for. And that's enough to have people just pick you apart and try to, aggravate you, frustrate you, pull you off of your path and everything like that. So you have to realize it's nothing necessarily that you have done in the past. It's nothing that it's probably not even the skeletons that you may have in your closet. It's not even something that you may have done it, or some enemy from the past or something like that. You would be amazed what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? And it could be a matter of, you just being a Christian. Like I said, there's no group of people that's attached to it. There's no group of people that's attached to it. So don't pick your brain about or try to define who it is unless you desperately know for a fact. Oh, this is what I wanted to also say. There are telepathic gang stalking too. That's another level that I might not have time to cover totally. But I have covered it basically. If you go back and look at my videos on telepaths and witches and warlocks, I've actually basically covered the methods of telepathic gang stalking in those videos. The telepaths and witches and warlock videos, I've already basically covered the methods that they use that's in gang stalking. So in telepathic gang stalking, I'm gonna go over it briefly though, since I'm on the subject of it. It's basically voices, networking of voices, of astral projecting, neurological weapons as well, psychological as psychological attacks against your mind, telepathic war games that are used against you. Okay? This is it comes straight up to it could be based on an individual basis of the things that they think you have weaknesses with. Like if you're caught up in sexual scandals or you did something probably questionable in your past sexually, they may think they can put baby images in your head. They try to put little children's images in your head or try to trigger you on your Facebook page or your YouTube page with baby pictures, and it's a very sick world that they live in, this underworld of gang stalking. So if you had any like questionable sexuality, even too, if you're bisexual, if you have been bisexual in the past or lesbian or gay or queer or something, whatever, they also can try to test the boundaries psychologically of what you're into and try to throw out baits and see how you respond to it psychologically. So this is what the telepaths do. Okay, witches as well. Okay, warlocks as well. And so the best thing what I do is the greatest weapon they can't stand is fasting. Fasting is what they cannot stand. You know what I'm saying? Fasting is what is going to get you to travel literally in the realm of the spirit in advance in ways that they cannot understand. they don't know what to prepare for when you're fasting. They don't know where the nuclear bomb is going to drop. They don't know. So when they're throwing thoughts towards you, like you're this, you're that, saying this, you're the worst person in the world, all kind of crazy things they put in your mind, all the things that they say, all of that, it's not you. First of all, in this psychological war, rule one-on-one is this: you know what reality is. As long as you're behind the threshold of your door, then you don't have to be worried about any authorities, any community, any people showing up at your door. Okay? You're doing nothing wrong. You're not breaking the law, and God will destroy anybody that tries to confront you about anything that they thought they found on your mind. Your mind belongs to you. If you do have any crazy thoughts, that's between you and God. That's not between you and your community. That's not between you and your president. That's not between you and anybody. African American community, Illuminati, any of these people that think they own you, anybody from your past, groups from your past. That is whatever you think, that's between you and God. Your mind is, while we're in the subject of the mind, is the only thing that you actually truly do possess. You don't have to share that with anyone. You don't have to, whatever you struggle with in your mind that's between you and God. That's all I can say. All I can do is point you in the right path if something has happened or you have been psychologically gang stalked to the point where you have PTSD, to where things trigger you without anyone there. My best thing is my purpose, I would say, or my way of helping you would be to help you to see that reality triumphs whatever comes across your mind. Okay? No matter what comes across your mind, your reality, the soundness, understanding, just sitting in silence for a second, just like this. That's reality. There's nothing but you and I. You're looking at me on the video. That's all that's going on. Okay, these clowns try to act like they try to get you in that world where you're focused on so much on what they're doing, then you start blaming yourself for things that you haven't done. Once you beat them this way, you've won. If you've already cleared that, you've already defeated them, especially if you've moved from place to place and they didn't beat you, and you beat all the psychological, telepathic, witch, warlock games, you won. You beat them. That's a win. When you move from one place to another, whether it's in your city, neighborhood, or town, you've won. You've already won. Because in essence, they wanted you to be destroyed to the point where you couldn't progress, where there was no progression. You know what I'm saying? And when it doesn't work, and you literally move on, you've won. Whether they accept it or not, whether they acknowledge it or not. Okay? So once you've won that and you see it, don't allow them to keep playing the same games with your head. You already know where you at. Alright? So if you do have something cross your mind, hey, that's between you and God. I'm not the person to send out a gang mob against you with fires, with sticks on the fire to try to pull you out and say, you've had a wrong thought. That's corny. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's sick mentally. You get past it in your own head. You work out the things that the enemy sends against you through them, and you realize reality triumphs everything. I'm not saying this is a license to let your mind go wild and just think whatever you want to think. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in the case that you happen to think something, if something crosses your mind, that don't beat yourself up like you the worst person in the world. I mean, in this day and time, you don't know where that came from. That could have came from a witch, a warlock, a telepath, a psychic. That could have came from the government using neurological weapons. It could. I'm just giving you examples. Okay, of anywhere that could have came from, any different outcome. You can't be safe to say this or safe to say that. You can't say who doesn't have this or that. I can't say the government has neurological weapons. I can't say that they don't. But I know that for a fact that there are there are psychics, telepaths, witches, and warlocks, and whatever methods they're using, it's not reality. You know what I'm saying? It's not reality, and that's all that matters. If you're not doing literally whatever they are accusing you of in real time. So, for instance, if they're accusing you of being a pedophile, if you're not literally messing with children, then you won. If they don't have any footage or any audio of you messing with children, you won. Don't spin your wheels. Don't beat yourself up about whatever they trying to accuse you of that's on your brain through monitoring your brain. Don't worry about that, because in essence, you're literally not doing any of the things they're accusing you of. None of those things are your reality. So what is the real reality, though? You and them are not in the same boat. You're not in the same boat as them. Okay? That means they have real actions in real time by astral projecting, by targeting you as a person. That's not a thought. You don't just think about targeting a person and successfully do that. That's an action. See, that's the difference between you and them. They might say, well, we're not really you are doing something. You're astral projecting. That's an action. Although it's not tangible, it's an action, though. It's actually an action. So if someone's gang stalking you can say, well, we're not harming the person, but you're actually moving and walking and you're going places, which means you're doing actions in real time. Your body as a substance is being moved towards that person to create a certain thing to happen. That's an action. That's not a thought. That's not a thought. So they may act like you and them are in the same boat. Y'all have the same karma. That's not true. Because in actuality, they're trespassing on your grounds by astral projection, mind technologies, whether they be spiritual or tangible technologies. You know, they're embarking on your personal space. That's an actual real time action. You don't just think about something like that and you're doing it. See what I just said? You see how I just said that? It still becomes an action. Doing. You can't just think something like that and it just is. It's something that is done. Okay? So I had to say all of that to say that you and them have two different karmas. Their karma is destruction for their actions. You and your thoughts are between you and God. I would dare someone to ever try to come around me talking about we saw this on your mind, or you had this kind of thought. I would not care. I don't care. I know that at the end of the day, what I do and don't do, and that's all that matters to me. I don't care about a perfect track record of my mind, because you also have to know with the psychological war, your mind is not perfect. You could be the best of the best. You could be the best of the best right up under the Lord. Okay? Right there with the prophets, the apostles. You do not have a perfect anything as a human being. Nothing's perfect about you. Nothing. Not your brain, not your heart, not your emotions, not your temperament towards people, not your behavior towards people, not your feelings towards people. Nothing about you is perfect. Okay? So don't beat yourself up. Don't let these people drive you to thinking that you're a horrible person. They're trying to make you trying to find some fault in you and follow you long enough to pin something on you to make you feel sorrowful and suicidal. You know what I'm saying? As long as you know, at this point, all you trying to do is get to heaven. You don't care nothing about what these people think. Especially no Americans. Look at how they behave and look at how they killing people and killing kids and black people killing black people. You worried about what they think? They need to go check themselves. That's Americans in general. They just need to go check themselves. They already reckon themselves. So I'm gonna come back with part 3 on this gang stalking. All right, peace.